this is a really great opportunity to feel what's occurring in the body as emotions arise and pass away, as thoughts arise and pass away, as feelings arise and pass away. This is this direct experience. This is felt. It's not mental.
It's not conditioned.
It's not conditioned.
And it's totally appropriate.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's the Dharma. Let's set mindfulness to the fore and meditate. Find your relaxed meditation posture, holding your back straight but not stiff. Your ears aligned with your shoulders, your nose aligned with your navel. Holding yourself gently, softly, lovingly. Allow yourselves to settle into this room, settle onto your seats, settle into your bodies, and settle into your minds. Notice the sensation of breathing in your body. Become mindful of your inhalation and your exhalation, your in-breath and your out-breath. While remaining mindful of your in-breath and your out-breath, notice that feelings arise and thoughts are flowing. We are sensitive and conscious beings. Feelings arise and thoughts flow. The purpose of meditation is to increase concentration and not be distracted by the arising and passing away of feelings and thoughts. Notice the arising and passing away of your breath in your body. When you find that you're caught up in your thinking again, simply acknowledge the distraction and return mindfulness to your breathing. Relaxing your thoughts, remaining mindful of the arising and the passing away of your breath in your body. And we will continue to meditate for 30 minutes with callbacks every 10 minutes. Gently deepening concentration by remaining mindful of your in-breath and your out-breath. Notice the arising and passing away of feelings and the arising and passing away of thoughts, while remaining mindful of the arising and passing away of your breath in your body. And we'll meditate for 10 more minutes. emotions. Take a moment to notice the quality of your mind. Be at peace with your mind. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. So in the schedule, it says that we're going to do 2 suttas. We're only going to do one. I'll leave the record for the next retreat. The Kaccayanagotta Sutta really is the appropriate sutta to end our retreats on. So that's what we're going to do. I've asked David if he would be graceful enough to share a synopsis of what he's learned. And he's been with us 6, 7 months, 8 months. If he would share what he's learned over that time. And and the importance of what you've learned from our Sangha too, if you could. I don't mean to put words in your mouth. Without blubbering. That's my job.
We all blubber. I would not call that blubbering.
Restrain.
You gotta work a little harder for blubbering.
Well, I always dabbled in wanting to be spiritual. I got as far as free Tibet button that I stuck on my
That'll do it.
as far as I got. You know,
I gotta say, I've been part of a Sangha that was all that they cared about.
it's
Didn't take us very far. Altruistic.
bought books, Dalai Lama, read the first 4 pages, never looked at it again. Lie to her about meditating.
That's not who he was.
But and then you can see what Mary was doing. You can see that she was trying. Whether we're bouncing or when she would start talking about, hey, come and see what's happening. You can listen. And I'm like, stop badgering it. I don't need any of this. Don't. And then I started reading and listening. And the words, come and see for yourself. And that's what I wake up to every day now. And I investigate. And as a student in me, I study. So instead of learning about Napoleon or Miles Davis or any number of things, you know, I deep dive into stuff. And that was good to learn. Then I also jam myself into a corner, Mary's cushion, force myself to sit, my knees and my hips and my back, wedge myself in there, and force myself twice a day, 20 minutes. And there's no mindfulness, there's nothing except grunting through it. But then slowly you relax. And I never did it for relaxing. It was never, I didn't get anything like that out of it. But then your concentration begins. And I remember meeting John for the first time. I said, I can't rush concentration. I can't rush mindfulness, but I can have right effort. And I can understand right view. And you start putting things together. And the student in me also appealed to me that I wanted to learn about Anatta. Right. Easily buy books on it. Because the student in me wanted to understand it. It's one of those puzzle parts of Buddha's teachings. And in origination, same thing, it's a puzzle. It's a puzzle until you start knowing each part. When you hear a teaching from John about becoming, or the success base, or what Jen stumbled upon and then fell back out of, and then she'll stumble back into it. You know, so it's just part of my nature. And 3 months later, here I am, you know, wondering why is this happening so quickly? And it's starts integrating into your life. And then I decided to start coming to this Sangha. And the importance of that feedback. The importance when the Lord is not there. The importance when Ron conveys his history. Listening to Diane. All the important aspects of that Sangha. I need to know the story of Kevin. I need to know it because we all got here somehow differently and converged here. And that energy is what I feed off of. And coming to this Sangha, I bring certain things. I bring a respect for the subject, a respect for John, respect for the members, that I'm prepared that not just reading John's article, but really trying to understand it, and then going home, learning more about it, and then it's integrated. And again, though, I can't rush anything except I can give that effort. And every morning I wake up to Mexico, come and see. There's no promises. There's no guarantee, but I know that that effort will bear fruit as far as understanding and having a deep, profound understanding of the three marks of existence. And then that concentration and mindfulness comes just naturally. I think I said it somewhere. It's a gradual journey for most people. It's not like that for everyone. It shouldn't be. So that's what I do. That's my practice. You know, John always says, "How's practicing?" I always think, well, it seems silly for me to be saying my practice is good. I mean, it is what it is, and it's growing, but the commitment, and that's where I'm at. And I understand I'm a kindergartner in this whole thing, but so that's my practice.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that.
If one practices this type of mindfulness for 7 years or 6 or 5 or a few days, or a few months, again, the importance of this, and David and I have had a couple of conversations, and he expresses the importance of the Sangha better than I can, better than any of them. I'm not better than you could, but he expresses it so wonderfully well. He mentioned about hearing Lorna on the tapes, and Mary and other people, Diane, all of us. and how important that was to him. That's important to me. I don't want somebody to say, I heard you, and this is what you told me. That's not Dhamma practice. This is Dhamma practice. The Buddha didn't do it alone. The Buddha quickly developed a Sangha that supported the teaching, and that's the only way that he made it. He couldn't have done it alone, but he didn't. He knew that he couldn't do it alone in a practical way, because then it's just some old guy wandering around India telling you how to do it, which is what everybody else did. He built the Sangha. We built the Sangha here. I'm glad it's going to continue. There's something else. The other thing I didn't mention, I'm sure Matt would take care of it, but the Zafus and the Zabutans go back where we got them to. Yeah, I know you would have thought about that, but I'm still running the show until I was never running the show, by the way. You were running the show. So again, I think I prefaced every sutta now, except the Nagara Sutta, to put it in the context, put this in the context of everything we learned. And you'll see this is another one of those suttas, but it's very clear in this, that the entire Dhamma is expressed. And so this is another one of those suttas that we could come back to again and again. And this would be one's right effort to use this as a way of establishing mindfulness. Okay. The Buddha was staying at Savatthi, at Jita's Grove, Anathapindika's monastery. The monk Kaccayanagotta, the last name is Gatta, I said them pretty quickly, approached the Buddha with a question. I don't understand right view. Can you teach me how right view relates to the world? Kaccayana, the confusion and deluded thinking in the world arises from polarizing views. Look at the world today. There is a view of permanent existence and a view of permanent non-existence. When the origination of confused and deluded thinking is understood and abandoned, from right view, it is seen that non-existence does not occur. Furthermore, and so the mind would say, well, if non-existence doesn't occur, then it must be existence. Permanent existence does occur. Furthermore, when the cessation of confused and deluded thinking is understood and abandoned from right view, it's seen that permanent existence does not exist. What does exist? The world is sustained by attachments, by clinging to conditioned thinking and wrong views rooted in ignorance of Four Noble Truths. That's a good example of how I've added something to the translation to make it clear that what we're talking about is in the context of the Four Noble Truths. That wasn't in the translation, but I think it needs to be, doesn't it? Whether it does or not, I'm putting it in. One who has developed right view no longer clings to attachments or fixated, meaning conditioned thinking. No one no longer clings to attachments or conditioned or fixated thinking. I said that twice. Or self-obsession. It is understood that stress arising is stress arising. Being present with what's occurring and in that sentence, the Buddha is describing being present with what's occurring and being mindfully present of what is not occurring or what's not existing. Simply, it is understood that stress arising is simply stress arising. It's not right or wrong. It doesn't need to be anything else. It can't be anything else. It is understood that stress passing away is stress passing away. When we're joined to our stress, even the passing away of stress is stressful, isn't it? In this, their knowledge is independent of other views. The Buddha is reinforcing the uniqueness of what he's teaching, not to elevate himself to any as a great teacher, to emphasize you need to let the other stuff go. My Dhamma avoids extreme views. I teach from the middle. I teach the Eightfold Path as the middle way that avoids extreme views. The middle way shows that suffering originates and is dependent on ignorance. And here is another, I said that the Buddha teaches dependent origination in many different suttas. This is one of them. From ignorance, and again, my insertion into the translation, from ignorance of Four Noble Truths as a requisite condition come fabrications. From fabrications as a requisite condition comes consciousness. From consciousness, ongoing thinking rooted in ignorance as a requisite condition comes name and form, self-referential views. From name and form as a requisite condition comes the sixth sense base. From the sixth sense base as a requisite condition comes contact. From contact as a requisite condition comes feeling. From feeling as a requisite condition comes craving. From craving as a requisite condition comes clinging and maintaining. From clinging and maintaining as a requisite condition comes becoming. From becoming as a requisite condition comes birth. From birth as a requisite condition comes aging, sickness, death, sorrow, regret, pain, distress, and despair. Such is the origination of extreme views and the entire mass of confusion, delusion, and stress. And like Jen and Kevin threshed it out, this occurs simultaneously, or it happens so quickly. And I would say that it doesn't even need to be noticed. Initially, we develop an understanding as we progress, just like the Buddha taught dependent origination. It wasn't the first thing he taught. Now, from the remainderless fading and cessation of that very ignorance comes the cessation of fabrications. Do you see how the chain is now falling apart? If there's no fabrications, then what follows is gone, is not present. From the cessation of fabrications comes the cessation of consciousness. From the cessation of consciousness comes the cessation of name and form, of self-referential views. From the cessation of name and form comes the cessation of the sixth sense base. From the cessation of the sixth sense base comes the cessation of contact. From the cessation of contact comes the cessation of feeling. From the cessation of feeling comes the cessation of craving. From the cessation of craving comes the cessation of clinging and maintaining. We're free. We're liberated. From the cessation of clinging and maintaining comes the cessation of becoming further ignorant. From the and then what is present is only the possibility to continue to awaken. From the cessation of becoming comes the cessation of birth. From the cessation of birth, then aging, death, sorrow, regret, pain, distress, and despair all cease. Dukkha is over. Such is the cessation of this entire mass of stress and suffering. So what is the noble truth of stress? Now this, monks, is the noble truth of stress. Birth is stressful. Aging is stressful. Death is stressful. Sorrow, regret, pain, distress, and despair are stressful. Association with the unbeloved is stressful. Separation from what is loved is stressful. Not getting what is wanted is stressful. In short, what? That's it. And this, monks, is a noble truth of the origination of stress, the craving that makes for the further becoming, accompanied by passion and delight, relishing now here, now there, craving for sensual pleasure, craving for becoming, craving for non-becoming. And this, monks, is a noble truth of the cessation of stress, the remainderless fading and cessation, the renunciation, the relinquishment, the release, the letting go of that very craving. And this, monks, is a noble truth of the way of practice leading to the cessation of stress, precisely this noble eightfold path. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right meditation. We're done. Thank you all. What an amazing retreat. So is there any questions? And I always say this, any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to say about our retreat? If there's anything you wish was different, keep it to yourself. If there's anything you wish was different, please tell me. We can talk about it now, or if you want it in private, we'll do it afterwards. But this is your Sangha.
I was disappointed it rained. Can you take care of that?
I disagree with your disappointment. I was happy that
I'll do what I can.
It was a beautiful rain.
It was. It really was. So I'm going to try to say something up there. I don't know what's going to happen, but I got it all in my head. every time I go through it, I fall apart. The Korean word for thank you it's spelled with a G, but it's pronounced, well, it's kamsahamnida. It's spelled with a G, but the first letter is really a hard K and a soft G kind of put together. Kamsahamnida. Kamsahamnida. Ham, H-A-M-N-I, kamsahamnida. But it's said quickly, obviously, kamsahamnida. So what I'd like to do is really make a dramatic show of it. And when we're done, we'll bow and say that. Great. And then, yeah, I mean, well, saying it all together, they're not going to know which one of us mispronounced it. So the reason why meeting people where they are is important. I'm not going
Maybe don't cling to composure, just like what he said.
I'm trying not to. And then I'd like some of you to say something too. If you're not comfortable, don't feel like you have to. I'm going to ask Matt to begin. And anything you say is appropriate. So it doesn't have to be as eloquent as your teacher's going to be. But I think that's important too. They do so much to provide this place. That's enough.